Ready?
Begin.
It being 1:30, we're going to commence today's proceedings before the Special Magistrate for Code Enforcement for the City of Palatka. By way of introduction, my name is Ron Brown. I am an attorney appointed by the City Commission pursuant to state statute and city code to preside over today's proceedings. What we have today is what's called a quasi-judicial proceeding. It's not a formal court of law. We do not have to follow the formal rules of civil procedure or the formal rules of evidence. We are required by law, however, to observe the basic requirements of due process and fairness to make sure everyone has an opportunity to be heard and to hear the allegations and evidence against them. Persons who are respondents will also have an opportunity to present any evidence and testimony that they may have, ask any questions that they may have of the staff. My job is basically a neutral. I'm a decider. I don't have a position one way or another on any case. And I've listened to the cases as they were presented and will make a decision regarding whether or not there's a violation. The city will be making a presentation alleging certain violations of city code on certain property owned by the respondents. They'll present some evidence in support of those violations. There will be an opportunity at that point for the respondents to present any testimony evidence that they may have regarding a defense to that violation or any of the things they would like to say. It's a pretty open proceeding. It's not terribly formal, but we do want you to feel free to say what you need to say, what you believe you need to say. We'll make sure that you have every opportunity to say it and present any evidence that you have. One of the requirements of law, however, is that the evidence be what's called substantial and competent. What that means in layman's terms is that it be evidence that a reasonable person could use to make a rational decision about a subject. And so there's not a lot of specific definition to it other than it be basically credible and that it be based on the personal knowledge of the person giving the testimony. However, that also requires that the testimony be sworn. So I'm going to ask that all those persons who will be testifying today, including the city staff, to please stand. I'm going to administer a brief oath. And let me see, we have two respondents who are here. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And let the record show that all the city staff and two respondents in the audience have indicated affirmation. We're going to take the cases in the order of agenda item, except that those persons who are actually here as respondents get priority. It's my understanding that we do have such a situation. So we'll call the first case, case number 2022-32, property located at 2120 Oak Street in Palatka. The owners of record, Michael Gustafson and Eric Jones, I believe that's correct. And are you both respondents? Yes. Come on up, please. And Mr. Gustafson? Yes. You're here, and Mr. Jones, correct? You're Mr. Jones? All right, very good. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Green's going to present the city's position. He's got some photographs primarily, and there's some other evidence that we'll have that you'll be able to see on the screen. Have you had a chance to look at the whole file? I mean, to see what's okay, very good. We'll make sure that you have the opportunity to do so. All right, Mr. Green.
Yes, so the case was first observed 6/23/22, and the notice of hearing was sent out 7/7/2022. Green card came back signed for the notice of hearing. The site posting was on 7/7/2022 also. The violations are 3032A, 2 overgrown grass and brush. The second was 30-169, building fronts and sides on streets and public areas, deteriorating paint. The third one was 30-213, responsibility of Marcus E. and owners of vacant, blight, unsecured, or abandoned structures. The fourth one is 30-169, building fronts and sides on streets and public areas, rotten and wicking wood. Section 30-32 is the fifth one, and it's probation, prohibited conditions and public nuisance description. The roofing is in disrepair.
All right. And as to notice, both respondents are present.
Yes, sir.
So notice was apparently successful with regard to that. All right. Before you begin, looks like you've got 5 separate violations, and I just, for the record, want to make sure everybody understands precisely which ordinances are affected. It appears the first one was 30-32A due to prohibited conditions and public nuisances, overgrown grass. And this is included in the file. That section indicates that excessive and untended growth of grass, weeds, brush, branches, and other overgrowth is prohibited on properties within the city. Second one, 30-169, building fronts and sides abutting streets or public areas deteriorating paint. That section reads in pertinent part. One moment. Think about paper. 30-169 subsection A, all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way should be repaired or replaced. Every part of such structure visible from a public right of way or abutting a street shall be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions shall be removed, repaired, or replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure or to match original materials and construction techniques. All exposed, I think that was it. The next one was section 30-213A of the city code. Responsibilities of mortgagee and owners of vacant, blighted, unsecured, or abandoned structure. And the specific allegation they're opening, allowing in rain and wind. 30-213 provides in pertinent part, all entrances, windows, and other openings shall be secured with approved materials, provided such materials completely seal all entrances, windows, and other openings, thereby protecting the interior of the structure from wind, rain, and other naturally occurring elements. Entrances to the windows above the ground floor should be regarded as secure if entrances are locked or not otherwise open to entry, and windows contain glass that's not cracked or broken, or shutters that prevent entry. Then you have another violation of 30-169 due to rotten and weakened wood regarding building fronts and sides. And we have already cited that section 30-169A, which prohibits structures visible from a public right of way or abutting a street. Rotten or weakened portions shall be removed, repaired, replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure. And finally, 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, roofing and disrepair. And that section of the code that was subsection 10. It looked like failure to replace or repair with similar improved material in a reasonable period not to exceed 60 days, broken or missing building components, including but not limited to doors, windows, roofing material, siding, and drives, walks outside of the right of way, which detract from the aesthetics of the neighborhood or prohibited. So those are the 5 violations. Mr. Green?
Yes, sir. That's just the overview of the house. That's roofing and disrepair that was taken June 22, 22.
And that's just the roofing and disrepair 30-32A10.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's slide 1.
That's a closer picture taken in June 22.
Is this going to require complete replacement of the roof?
Yes, sir. The back side is also the same way.
Yes.
Hang on a second. Here we get you. Next.
That's the rotten and weakened wood with deteriorating paint, along with the roofing and disrepair also.
Is the city going to let that wood stay there if it's, well, you have to take out the rotten wood? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Replace all of that.
Okay. Next. Now on slide 4.
That's the other side of the house.
And this is more
Yes,
roofing disrepair and rotten and weakened deteriorating paint.
Yes, that's the other side of the house. Also taken June 22nd, 2022.
Okay.
Was the roof and repair and excuse me, overgrown grass. As you can see, the deteriorating paint also.
And which side of the house is
This is
this?
the front of the house.
Front of the house? Okay.
Yes.
This faces what, Oak Street?
Yes, sir.
This house isn't on a corner, is it? It's just got one, it's basically the front, what's visible.
It's corner, but you really can't see from that street. Cleveland, yeah.
Okay.
This picture was taken Monday, 7/18/2022.
And back to the roof.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about the gable here, the
Yes,
front.
sir. Yes, sir. That's another picture of, well,
Oh, that's the soffit there.
yes. Picture also taken Monday, 7/18/2022.
Okay.
And that's overgrown grass.
Yeah, before you move on to the grass. So is this basically about the roof and the gables
Yes,
on
sir.
the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the city's view, what's it going to take to make an effective repair that would satisfy the statute?
Remove and repair.
Can you repair it or does it require?
They're
a
gonna
new
probably
roof?
remove it.
Okay, put a new one on.
Yes, sir.
Replace it.
Replace it, yeah, they-
Okay. And now you got some overgrown grass in violation of 3032A2.
Yes, sir.
This is slide 5B.
Yes, this is the end.
And what needs to be done there? Just mow it?
Yes, sir. Remove all the overgrown grass and brush.
Okay. There's no man-made materials in the yard that concern you? Okay. So basically, we're looking at a new roof
Yes,
and
sir.
mowing the yard.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you take the photographs you presented today as demonstrative evidence?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do they represent the condition of the property on the date on which you took them?
Yes, sir.
How much time are you looking for?
120 days.
So 120 days to get the new roof on it or what?
Yes, sir. Most times
Okay.
they come and talk to.
Is that possible in today's day and time?
If most times they come in and show good favor and talk to my superintendent, they probably have more time.
All right. Gentlemen,
Yes, sir.
well, they're saying you need a new roof. I have to admit, it does look like you might need a new roof
For sure.
sooner than later. Was this house in this condition when you all got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you took this on as a project.
Yes. sir. Yes,
We-
sir.
Bless you.
Actually, it was in worse condition.
Okay,
We've already cleaned the yard up extensively, taken out several trees and cleaned it up quite a bit. Now it is overgrown. The yard definitely needs attention. We would like to ask that we have 120 days to remove the roof completely and then possibly get another extension to put the new roof on, because as you suggested, that's.
let me
probably-
ask you this. Usually when the city brings one of these here,
Mhm.
they've been trying to get some compliance and they've had some difficulty. And I understand there've been a lot of things going on in our society and environment and that have interfered with progress we might like to make, especially when things involving construction. Having said that, how long has this process been going on, Mr. Green? What are we looking at?
Well, we just became proactive in May, but me doing another house across the street, I've seen it, maybe way back in February, April, maybe.
And you realize this doesn't start until somebody complains. So somebody's looking at
Yes.
this. And so that's one of the joys of this business these days is complaints.
This was a proactive case, Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry.
This was a proactive case.
Okay. That being, cities being proactive, excuse me. All right. Having said that, they're looking, they think they can get the roof off in 120 days. Is that going to require a demolition permit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do they need to get a building permit
Yes, sir.
for putting the new roof on?
Yes, sir.
Can you get all that done?
We're a licensed building contractor.
Right. And the reason I'm asking these questions, what the city's looking for usually in these kind of circumstances is a little push to get something done. There's been, I understand the reasons why it hasn't been done, but you're not the first ones to come here with difficulties in trying to deal with some of these issues. And some of them are pretty profound, and you've got a profound roof issue that needs to be looked at.
Sir,
They need progress. They need some progress they can rely on.
We just purchased the home this past September.
Okay.
So, like I said, we knew what condition it was in, and we knew we were gonna have to work on it. Like I said, we have done a lot of work in the yard. Just other projects we're doing, it is on our schedule.
Probably the last quarter of 23 before we actually start the renovation.
Yeah, I think what the city's looking for is a way to kind of cement it on your schedule that, yeah, they got your attention and say, we really need to get this work done.
What we're hoping to do is just find a happy median where it's safe and everybody's happy with the conditions.
All right. They're saying 120 days, get the roof removed, get all the permits for demolition. What is the city asking for? I mean, there's a violation. Now we're just figuring out how to fix it effectively. Because the key that I'm looking at is that the city's asking for $125 a day fine in the event of non-compliance. So what's going to be compliance in 100?
120 days to work on getting the roof repaired or replaced. Also, the cleaning of the grass and debris in front of it and try to get the house painted in area, things sealed. As long as you're showing that you are making progress, we'll look at working at giving some type of extension toward the end there, but we're not gonna do any extensions until we see progress in place.
We'll help them out with this on that. And I think they can get the yard done in that time period. Mostly it's mowing it and cleaning it up, making it look nice.
We can get the yard done. We're confident we can get the demo done. I have a question regarding openings. Are we
Well-
okay with sealing openings so that no one can get in there, the building? That's what I mean by.
The building has to
sealing.
be secured,
Right.
sealed down, so nobody can get inside the building.
And that's what I'd like the record to show today is let's make sure we have a fairly clear picture of what's going to be required for compliance within that 120 day period. That's what they're looking for. And that's what gives you something to push against. They need demolition permit, building permit, get the roof off.
Roof off and secured so nobody can get in there, and also get the yard and debris cleaned up.
That work with you guys?
One point, we're calling demo permit, building permit as two separate things.
I know they are.
We need to go pull a permit to get the demolition done.
Mhm.
We'll have to get a building permit, but that won't be until
All
we
right.
actually start construction.
Just make sure they're clear on what it is they need to get.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. But I don't want somebody coming back and saying, well, I didn't know I had to get this
Right.
within that circumstance. But they could, so in 120 days, you can get the roof off, get the house secured, get the yard clean. And then you still got a problem with fixing the roof. Well, let me ask you this. Is it violate the code not to have a roof on it?
That's what it means. They gonna secure it, make sure the house is
All right.
secured.
Yes.
That answers that
Yeah,
question.
has to, yeah. Has to
So-
be when nobody can get inside the house.
So everybody clear what we're looking for? All right. We're going to find that there's a violation of 30-32A due to the overgrown grass, 30-169 due to deteriorating paint, 30-2131A due to the openings on the top allowing the wind and the rain, 30-169 due to rotten and weakened wood on the building fronts and sides facing the Oak Street, and 30-32A roofing and disrepair. And we're going to enter an order finding the violations requiring compliance with the ordinances no later than the end of the business day on November 16th, 2022, which is 120 days. Is that right, Ms. Hughes? In the event of non-compliance, a fine of $125 a day will commence on Thursday, November 17th, 2022. And hopefully we won't get there. There's no other cost at this particular time. Just you don't want those fine clocks to stop. And you need to stay in touch with Mr. Green with regard to your progress. And I think if you do that, you'll be fine. Okay.
And
Okay. Thank you all for coming. Yes, sir. Anything
one
else?
question. I'm just so unclear. After the 26th, we can apply for another extension to get the actual new.
And
roof
then you'll
on.
have to deal with the city on, you can apply for everything.
So that I understand is if we meet all the requirements we just let out, this violation will be happy.
It should be.
It's only if there is another one that appears.
Right. But eventually you're going to have to put that roof on it.
Oh, that's well,
Because that ongoing process.
that is our plan is, we've got one currently that we're remodeling. There's another one just down the street. That's our next one. This will be the one after that.
All right.
So it's on our
And-
docket.
For what it's worth to you, if you're buying up houses trying to fix them, bless you.
That is our goal.
There's some others who are doing that and we appreciate that. All right. Thank you very much. But don't forget the compliance part. All right. Do we have any other respondents present today?
I don't
Any
see-
look?
We do not have anyone on Zoom, sir.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the 516 Kirby and put it last. I'm gonna move 516 Kirby to the end and see if anyone does appear by Zoom. Okay, and we're gonna take 809 North 14th Street. Case number 2022-033. Property, again, 809 North 14th Street. Owner of record is 5T Wealth Partners LP. Is there anyone representing 5T Wealth Partners LP present today? We see and hear no one. All right, Mr. Green, tell us about this case.
Yes, sir.
And
This is also a
give us some due process on notice. And what kind of notice did you provide?
I mailed certification letter. to Green
Go ahead,
Card.
go with your case. It's fine.
Okay.
You bring it up. Just explain how you follow the statute on giving them notice.
Yes, sir. This is also a proactive case. It was first observed 6/22/22, and
Okay.
the notice of hearing was sent at 7/7/2022. The green card did not come back signed for the notice of hearing, but the green card did come back for the voluntary compliance.
And the address for the respondent at PO Box 162121, Altamont Springs, Florida 32716 is the official address of record on the property appraiser and tax collector's records.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Did you post the property?
Yes, sir. The 7/9/2022.
And you have a affidavit of service of
Yes,
notice?
sir.
And I see the affidavit.
Sir.
I just want to make sure I see the
Oh.
affidavit.
Should be the 4th page.
Okay. Just bear with me. Have you had any contact with the respondent or owners?
Not besides voluntary compliance, green card coming back. Besides that, I haven't.
I'm not sure I see the affidavit. In my pack anyway. Hang on. Here it is. I have it. No, thank you. I think you served it on July 7th. By
Yes, sir.
posting both at the property and here in City Hall, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Thank you. If you have no contact with the owners or any representatives of the owners?
No, so not besides the code of the voluntary letter coming back with the green card signed, but I did not get the notice of hearing card, green card come back.
All right. You've got, looks like 4 violations. Please
Yes.
proceed.
It's the first violation is 30-213 unsecured into buildings. The second was section 30-32 overgrown grass. The second was 30-171 broken windows. And the fourth one is 30-169 rotten and weakened wood and deteriorating paint.
All right, for the record, let me just briefly go over the ordinances at issue. You had 30-213-1A, unsecured entry to buildings. That provision, subsection 1 provides a mortgagee or owner of a blighted, unsecured, or abandoned structure shall secure and maintain all entrances and all other openings of the structure, including but not limited to windows and doorways. Such blighted or unsecured abandoned structures should be secured as follows. All entrances, windows, and other openings should be secured with approved materials, provided such materials completely seal all entrances, windows, and other openings, thereby protecting the interior of the structure from wind, rain, and other naturally occurring elements. You also cite 30-32A, prohibited conditions of public nuisances due to overgrown grass. That provision in subsection 2 provides excessive and unintended growth of grass, weeds, brush, and branches, other overgrowth is prohibited under this section of the code. You cite 30-171 windows due to broken windows. Subsection A of that statute shows that every broken, cracked, or missing window should be repaired or replaced with glass. Windows must fit tightly to have sashes of proper size and design. Sashes with rotten wood, broken joints, loose mullions, or muttons should be replaced. And finally, 30-169, rot and weakened wood and deteriorating paint on building fronts and sides, abutting streets or public areas. And that provision is in subsection A. Again, all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way should be repaired or replaced. Every part of such structure visible from a public right of way or abutting street should be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions shall be removed, repaired, or replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure to match the original materials and construction techniques. And show me what we have in violation of those four.
Yes, sir, that's an
ordinances.
overview of the house. That's how the house looks, on June 22, 22.
Goodness.
This is a picture of, the rotten.
And for the
material.
record, the goodness in photograph, the first photograph was just total overgrowth of the vegetation on the house, it looked like.
Yes, sir, but that's just the overview of the house. I like to show the whole house before we get started, how it looks from, on the street.
Okay. Okay, photograph one.
Yes, sir. That's rotten deteriorating wood and unsecured entry.
Okay. And is this the side front of the house?
Yes, sir, that's the front. That's on North 14th Street.
It looks like there's a gate across the door. Does that do anything about keeping anybody out?
No, sir, the gate is open. It's not.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's a picture of rotten and deteriorating wood.
This is looks like the top of the porch,
Yes, sir.
soffit.
And that's a picture of the mold and mildew. It's also was taken June 22, 22.
Okay.
And the house is in there. That's overgrown, overgrown grass. And that's 1B that was taken Monday, 7/18/2022.
Okay.
It looks the same.
We're looking at 1B.
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
taken on 7/18/22. That's another same picture of the rotten deteriorating with the unsecured entry. Taken also Monday. Just type on.
Is there any evidence of anyone trying to live in this house?
Sir,
Is there any evidence of anyone trying to live in this house?
trying to live in it?
Yeah, just camping or,
I wouldn't trust it,
Squatting.
but you know, you get desperate, you probably just.
okay.
That's a recent picture of the mold and mildew on the walls. That was taken Monday, 7/18/2022. And that's another picture of the overgrown grass that was taken.
Okay. So obviously all this debris, vegetation, grass and so forth needs to be cut, removed and trimmed.
Yes, sir.
Once you see the house, other than the walls on the side, is there anything in this house that can be saved? Do you know?
No, sir.
I mean, what's the remedy?
It's a block house, so the house may be able to be saved, but I'm not a building inspector, so I couldn't tell you.
So it's the city's position that the roof needs to be removed and
Yes, sir.
replaced?
Replace, remove and replace.
And then
Right.
the house at least pressure washed and
Yes,
painted?
sir. Pressure wash and painted with a uniform coat of paint.
And then all of the grass and so forth,
We
mowed and
remove it.
trimmed.
Yes, sir.
All right, again, making a call for a representative of 5T Wealth Partners LP.
Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
We had one more violation with the broken windows.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
We've seen it already. I mean, unless you want to see it again.
Oh, no. You seen them all?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you
Yes, sir.
ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was making sure. I was just making sure that they were still here or not,
Oh.
or not here as the case may be. And let the record show we have no one responding to the call for a representative of 5T Wealth Partners LP. Did you take all the photographs you showed
Yes, sir, I
today as
did.
demanded evidence? And do they actually represent the condition of the property on date on which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. All right, based on the evidence and testimony, we're going to find a violation of 30-213 1A of the municipal code. Responsibilities of mortgagee and owners of vacant, blighted, unsecured, or abandoned structures due to the multiple unsecured entries into buildings through doors and windows. A violation of section -30-32A prohibited conditions and public nuisances due to overgrown grass, weeds, and vegetation on the property. A violation of section 30-171 windows due to broken windows, multiple broken windows on all sides of the house. And finally, a violation of section 30-169, building fronts and sides of abutting streets or public areas. And we're talking about 14th Street only.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rotten and weakened wood and deteriorating paint, which needs to be replaced and repaired. We're going to enter order finding the violation, requiring compliance within 120 days of today's hearing. That is by the end of business on Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. In the event of non-compliance, a fine of $100 a day shall commence on Thursday, November 17th, 2022. Any news on a Zoom participant?
No, sir, we've not had anybody add in.
All right. We're going to proceed with the case. Number 2022-27. Owner appears to be, it's Carl Ma O Knowles, I believe. Property located at 516 Kirby Street in Palatka. Okay, Mr. Green.
Yes, sir. This is also a proactive case. It was first observed 5/10/2022. Notice of hearing was sent at 6/23/22. The green card did not come back. The complex posted was 7/9/2022, and the site posting was the same day. The violations are section 30-3032, fencing and disrepair, and 30-169, rotten, weakened wood, and mold and mildew on walls.
All right, let me just inquire for the sake of due process. Is Carlma O. Knowles or anyone representing Carlma O. Knowles present today? Seeing and hearing no one. Mr. Green?
Yes. What do you need, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, let's back up and see what we did to notice them.
Oh,
We sent the address, let's see. Looks like the certified mail was sent to Carlma O. Knowles at 28632 6th Place South, Des Moines, Washington,
yes, sir.
98198. And the green card looks like it was sent back unsigned. And did you notice the property?
Sir,
And you placed notice on the property?
yes, I
Very
did.
good.
The affidavit and everything, and a picture.
And see an affidavit of service showing the notice was for the hearing and of the violation was placed on the property on July 7th, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, your affidavit is here. It also shows it was noticed on City Hall on the same date. Have any contact with Carlman Knowles or anyone representing?
Yes,
Carlman?
sir.
Yeah. Mr. Cutright?
Yes, we received several phone calls from Mr. Knowles asking about this hearing. We also sent his wife a link, so they are notified of what's going on.
Well, did they indicate their awareness of the situation and indicating what they might do about it?
Well, he would want to know exactly what the city wanted him to do about it, so we gave him, and I said he would get more detail in the hearing. So he was actually supposed to have been on the Zoom call, him and his wife, so they are notified.
Okay. All right, very well. All right, Mr. Green, you've got two violations. First one has to do, and I'll read the ordinances in just to make sure we have those. 30-32 AA 10, prohibited conditions of public nuisances, fencing and disrepair. That code provision provides hang on. 30-32 A10. All right. Is this somebody's phone? Oh, there you go.
Sorry, Dad.
That's okay. Failure to replace or repair within similar improved material in a reasonable period not to exceed 60 days, broken or missing building components, including but not limited to doors, windows, roofing material, siding, and drives, walks. Trying to see fences. Okay, it looks like I've got, oh, here it is. It goes on the next page. It's in the. All right, subsection 11. We'll get to it here. Failure to repair, replace, remove broken fencing, screening, or decorative elements on a developed parcel or lot constitutes a violation of section 30-32A, it's like 11 in that case. And also it's a violation of 30-169 of the city code, building fronts and sides of abutting streets or public areas due to rotten, weakened wood, mold, and mildew on the walls. That ordinance pertinent part reads, all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way shall be repaired or replaced. Every such part of a structure visible from a public right of way or abutting a street shall be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions shall be removed, repaired, replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure or to match the original materials and construction techniques. Basically, it looks like we have fencing, rotten and weakened wood facing Kirby Street, and mold and mildew on the walls facing Kirby
Yes,
Street. All right. Show me what you have.
Exposed paint, exposed wood. That's an overview of the house from Kirby Street. I was taken 4/11/2022. That is the left side of the house. I guess we would call it a balcony of some sort. That's the left side of the house if you're facing it.
Is that like the bottom of a porch? What is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It's right there.
okay. On the top part. It's unusual the way that was built as
Yeah.
it came up there.
And that's the right side of the house. If you're facing it from Kirby Street, and that was taken 4/11/2022. And that's the front of the porch.
This is located where?
In front of the porch.
On the porch?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. That's facing. Yes. And that's the exposed wood, not painted or stained.
Okay.
And that's the porch facing Kirby Street. That's wood, exposed wood, not painted or stained.
well, were they working on the house at some point and scraped it?
I don't know, sir.
Doesn't look like there was ever any paint on that.
They may have been replacing it, I guess, but.
Okay.
And that's the fencing in disrepair. And that was taken 4/11/2022.
What needs to be done to bring that into compliance? Just
They need
replace the stays?
Pressure wash it and replace it, repair it with similar materials or better.
Okay.
And that's the mold and mildew on the wall.
Looking at number 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that was taken 4/11/2022. That's 7/18/2022. This picture was taken. That's the left side of the house. Got a little shade that morning.
This isn't at issue, but just looking at this structure that just kind of erupts out of the roof of this house, did that meet any known code? The way that's done? It looks to me like the water just kind of drains down off the side of it and goes,
What I'm thinking that the roof above the porch or the balcony, what one want to call it, had a hole in it and it leaked in, and the water, that's the only way the water could escape on either side in the front. You see it's on the bottom and they're like
okay,
water damage. So really.
because it just destroyed the wood on the side of this structure. It doesn't sound like the water is getting away from there very well. That's not necessarily the issue. They got to fix that when they bring it back. But it's an unusual looking
Yes.
arrangement. Let's put it that way. However,
And that's the right side of the house. I think it got worse, and that was taken 7/18/2022.
okay. Well, it's not getting better.
No, sir. And that's the front again. That was taken 7/18/2022.
All right, where is this located? On the
516
front
Kirby.
side?
Sir.
On the front side
Yes,
of the
sir.
house?
Yes, sir.
They're looking at 3B. Okay,
And that's another picture of the exposed wood that was not painted or stained, and that was taken 7/18/2022.
this is a pretty big house.
Yes, sir. There's another picture of the front exposed wood not painted or stained. And the same fence in disrepair. 7/18/22, and
Did the owners indicate to you when they bought this house what their eventual plan was? I mean, were they planning to repair and move
I
in or?
haven't spoke with him at all.
Okay,
And that's in the picture of 7/18/22. Mold and mildew on the walls. And that's on the right side of the house.
anything else? Did you take all the
Yes,
photographs?
sir.
And do they actually represent the condition of the property on the date in which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right. Based on the evidence and testimony presented, we're going to find a violation of section 30-32A10 of the city code due to prohibited conditions and public nuisances, due to the fencing in disrepair, fence has missing staves, needs to be cleaned and repainted. Section -30-169 of the city code, building fronts and sides abutting streets or public areas, the street in question being Kirby Street, and rotten and weakened wood and mold and mildew on the walls. It's like on the sides of the elevated porch, on the sides of the main sides of the house. The wood is either weakened, had mold and mildew, or is unpainted. We're going to enter an order finding the violations, requiring compliance within 60 days of the date of today's hearing, the 60th day being at the end of business on Monday, September 19th, 2022.
Just, Mr. Brown, one more thing, they are in a historic district, so they might need to contact or consult with the North Historic District. South Historic District.
Did you do which now?
They are in the historic district, so they may want to consult with the South Historic District for any repairs or anything that can be done to that house.
I'll leave that up to them, figure out how they want to do
I
it.
just had to let them know. I just want to let them know.
Is 60 days enough time to do all this? You guys are running the city. I'm gonna. So basically, they got to go through a historic district review.
Yes, sir, I guess.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
well, I mean, is that enough time in all fairness?
Well, Ms. Walsh is here and she is the liaison from the city for the historic
Okay.
preservation districts.
I mean, I'm amenable to whatever the city thinks it's going to take to get this done. Could you just identify yourself for the record?
Lisa Walsh, Planning Director, City of Palatka. If they are doing ordinary repair and maintenance, that is a certificate of appropriateness that I can approve at the staff level. If they have to go before the board, if they're going to do any other alterations to the structure, that will take more time because they have to submit an application, then we have noticing periods and a monthly meeting scheduled for the Historic Preservation Board. So it would take more time if they do have to come before the board, but from what I have seen, if they're just repairing what they've got in the violations, that should be something I can approve at the staff level.
So if the city wants them to have permits in hand and the job done within 60 days, I'm not sure they're going to get there, even if they started today.
It'd be a
So
little
what's a
tight,
reasonable time for this?
90 to 100. 120, yeah,
How many?
120.
20 days.
120 days?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it's a good point to raise
Yes, sir.
in terms of what it's actually going to take to go through the extra steps of the process. We all know how much fun historical preservation can be.
Sir, I did not just hear you say that.
I'll tell a war story when we're done.
Thank
All
you.
right. So we're going, what's 120 days?
120 days. 120 days is November 16th.
16th, all right. very
Yes,
good.
sir. Just as much as same as the other cases, sir.
So we'll enter an order finding the violations as indicated and require compliance no later than the end of business on Wednesday, November 16th,
Yes, sir. That's correct.
2022. In the event of non-compliance, a fine of $50 a day shall commence on Thursday, November 17th, 2022. All right. There being no further business before the special magistrate, according to our agenda, we're going to adjourn to